Oh, how y'all doing? Welcome back. Uh, it's been a few hours since the game ended, and I've had some time to really sit down and go over my notes and lament on this game because it's been a rough stretch for the Washington Capitals. And by rough, I mean I'm a little bit cautious. No, I'd say worried. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the Washington Capitals going into the playoffs. Um, Last night we lost 7-0 to the Columbus Blue Jackets to start a home and home. Last four games of the season, we got our ass kicked, and it's one of those kinds of contests where you take the game film, throw it in the trash, take a blowtorch to it, and then drop some napalm on it. That's how bad the game was. You learn absolutely nothing from it. Granted, no Ovi, Protas, Thompson, Chychrun. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Sorry if I'm not. Yeah, down four of our key guys in the first game, and we got our ass whooped. So, moving on from that, back home, it's the home finale for the Capitals as we gear up for the playoffs. And for the Blue Jackets, they're a team that is fighting desperately to keep their playoff hopes alive because coming in, they're 5 points behind Montreal for the second and last wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. And if they lose, it's over. Their season's over. The last two games of the regular season don't mean a goddamn thing. So they need to win out and hopefully get some help. But anyways, let's go ahead start with the first period. And also, I do want to say for the Blue Jackets, no Elvis Merzlikins tonight due to injury. For the Capitals, still no Protas, no LT. They probably won't play the last two games of the regular season, so just put them to the side. But anyway, first period, hopefully we come out and get to a great start because I'd hate for us to fall behind like 2-3-0 again. And a minute into the game, everything's going great. We forced the giveaway into the Columbus zone. Dylan Strome finds Ovi at the short circle. He scores on a slap shot. 1-0 Capitals early. So I'm feeling good. We're at home. We score first. And this Blue Jackets team, they can score in a flurry. Because I think coming into tonight, they had 14 games where they scored 6 or more goals. So get into a shootout with the Columbus Blue Jackets if you want to. But good luck. But yeah, it's 1-0 early. Capitals up. I'm feeling great. And then, going through the first quarter, got a fight early between, who was it? Was it McIlvain? I think it was McIlvain and Matthew Olivier, if memory serves me correct. And McElrath or Rath. I'm butchering his name. My fault. I'll put those in the corrections at the end of this video. But I'm butchering his name. But Olivier, he won that fight. I give it to him. He won that. So fighting early, some skirmishes early, but both teams are competing and we're up early. And then fast forward to the 14:36 mark. That leads to the Zach Werenski goal, which ties the game. Ivan Provorov feeds Werenski at the top of the zone, and he fires from downtown. We got traffic in front of Chucky. He can't see it, and that's a goal that evens the game. Now, at this point, I was still feeling good about the game because it's like, again, I don't expect Columbus to roll over. They've got shit to play for. We ain't got nothing to play for. Maybe the President's Trophy, but we're 3 points behind coming in to Winnipeg. And if we lose today, Winnipeg wins it. They clinch it anyway. So there's that. But it's 1-1 going into the second period. And this is where things start to turn for the worst. And a lot of that is because of Columbus's tight checking. We really couldn't find a rhythm. Well, by they I mean Washington. The Capitals couldn't really find a rhythm after the first period, and again, it was because of Columbus's tight checking. There was never really a point after the first period that I saw Washington in any kind of real rhythm. So we found ourselves a step behind offensively, and that is on top of the fact that Jet Greaves, he's been playing well as of late. He pitched the shutout against us the night before, and he's starting for the second straight game. So, you have to hope that maybe he comes in a little bit tired because it's 24 hours after the fact. But no, he's not tired. He's looking great. And it's like every other minute, go ahead, save, go ahead, save, go ahead, save. What was that? Another goal-hand save for Jet Greaves. And coming into the contest, he had only started 8 games during the season. Also, he started 2 previous games against us. The one the night before, and then a 2-1 overtime loss in December. So he's played pretty well against us. I need to slow down. But yeah, not great. A lot of whiffs, a lot of turnovers in our zone. Just missing the puck. And that's the kind of thing that will ultimately come back to haunt us later. So, end of 2, we're down 2-1, but maybe there's still a chance, even though Columbus is really driving the play of the game. And then period 3, a minute 57 in, Adam Fantilli scores to make it 3-1. It's a scramble in our zone, and then Chucky, he gets clipped by one of our own, wide open net. Fantilli, he's right there, scores, and it's just like, the sky. It's not falling apart, but there's cracks. And Columbus has been bad enough defensively as to where you can get back into the game. But again, we don't have any rhythm, and Jet Greaves, he was basically a wall tonight. We really couldn't do anything against him. So down 3-1, and then 15:48 mark, Dmitry Voronkov, he scores, giveaway near our blue line, and then Voronkov, he takes it back himself. He's got Charlie point blank, scores, it's 4-1, and then the game's basically over at that point. We do get a late power play, but ultimately that gets wiped out by Pierre-Luc Dubois because he gets called for a slashing. So Columbus goes back on the power play, but they make nothing of it, and ultimately that's basically it for the game. 4-1 Columbus. The Blue Jackets win their 4th straight. The last 3 of those games, Greaves has been the starter. Merzlikins started the beginning of that win streak, a victory over Ottawa. So even though they were struggling at for this winning streak, they had lost 12 of 16 coming into the Ottawa game. Columbus somehow has kept its season alive with their players of late. So they're still 3 points back, and they're both tied in games played now. So they both got 2 games left, all that good stuff. Let's see, shots, 30-23 Washington. Hits, 32-16 Washington. Giveaways, this was damn near even. Washington 12, Columbus 11. Scoring chances. Now, I managed to catch this at the either it was the beginning of the third. And I remember hearing the broadcast, and they were talking about how we had double the scoring chances. It was 28-14, and then the high danger chances were 9-3. But we weren't really doing anything with them. So ultimately, we stalled out. Both teams combined 0-5 on the power play. Columbus was 0-3. We were 0-2. My personal player of the game, I'd have to say objectively, Jack Greaves. 29 saves on the night. He looked like the best player out there. We couldn't get anything past him. Once he settled in after the Ovi goal, that was basically it. And credit to the Columbus defense for not letting us play the game that we wanted to. Because we don't mind getting up and scoring with the best of them, but can't do shit if you ain't got no rhythm, basically. So there's Greaves, and then a close second is Adam Fantilli, because he had 2 goals on the night. Could have had a hat trick, but he does miss one late. And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And it's one thing if you lose both games of the back-to-back, but it's close. Like if the first game was like 2-0 or even 3-0, hell, maybe even 4-0, it's like, okay, we really just didn't have it, and they got an empty netter or so late in the game, and basically the game is much closer than the final score indicated. There's that. But Columbus far and away dominated both games. It wasn't close. Again, it's one thing if both games were close and then Columbus pulled away at the very end. But it's another thing entirely to lose both games, a combined score of 11-1. You no-showed in Columbus, and then tonight, after Ovi's score, you had nothing. And it's not great. And what compounds that is, and credit to the fact that we have been a little banged up as of late, Washington has dropped 7 of 10, and since March 20th, a 3-2 win over Philly, we've given up 3+ goals in every game since. That's 11 straight. That's terrible. Like, we know what was going on with Thompson his last 3 starts before he got hurt. He had surrendered 13 goals when he got hurt versus Carolina. He had given up 3 in the Carolina game, then he got hurt ultimately. But with Thompson being hurt this late in the year and him struggling before he got hurt, you have to wonder, what exactly is the first round of the playoffs going to be like? And to add, Hunter Shepard started the loss last night in Columbus. Hunter Shepard isn't great. So there's that. Again, the Columbus game, that was our C team in Columbus. We just like, hey, you want this game? Take it. We don't care. Because we've had everything wrapped up for a while. I'm worried. I really am. Cause it's like it's one thing if this was NFL, NBA, baseball, but this is the Stanley Cup playoffs we're talking about. Anything can happen. We talk about anything happening in the other sports. Anything can happen. We have the playoff scars of the last 15 years. Well, 16 now. But you get what I'm saying. We have the playoff scars. Montreal in 2010. The Game 7 losses to the Rangers. 2016 and 17 to Pittsburgh. 2019 to Carolina to a certain extent because we were up 2-0 and we're the defending champs. So you got to win that series. The playoff scars are there. We seen it with Boston 2 years ago. Set the all-time record for wins and points in the season. And they lost in round 1. Shit, they blew a 3-1 series lead. The Rangers series in 2015, Washington blew a 3-1 series lead. The Montreal series in 2010, when we got halaked, we blew a 3-1 series lead. And you know what? Maybe, again, with the late season injuries, not really prioritizing the President's Trophy because that curse is real. I mean, we're taking our foot off the gas a little bit. But hockey, especially in the playoffs, is wild enough that you can get beat on any night. And you can get upset by anybody. It is not far off for Montreal or Columbus, should they find a way, to sneak into the playoffs. And the next thing you know, we're out in the first round. We're embarrassed. Hell, prime example, Tampa Bay in 2019. 62 wins, 128 points. Guess who upset them in round 1? Columbus. And not only did they upset them, they swept them. It was never close. Outside of game 1, it was never close. We have 2 games left. Islanders and Penguins. Nobody has anything to play for, so I don't even know if I'm going to watch them, to be honest. I probably will. For Columbus, their final 2 games, they've got the Flyers and Islanders, so if they can win those and get a little bit of help from Montreal's opponents, they'll find a way to sneak in. Montreal, their final 2 versus the Blackhawks and the Hurricanes. Chicago, they've been one of the worst teams in the league all season long. Carolina, they're locked into the number 2 spot in the Metro. They've got nothing to play for. So, they got to get right over these last 2 games. They have to, because I would hate for Washington to come into the playoffs and just be completely rusty, and then once again we're sitting on the benches with our dicks in our hands, wondering what the hell happened, and we've been eliminated. I'm going to sleep. I'll see y'all for Capitals Islanders.